Welcome to the Bitchin' Siblings Podcast.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Bitching Siblings Podcast. I'm Jenny.
Hi, guys. It's Amy.
And we are on our This and That segment of the show. Are you excited?
Yay!
There's not really a theme, but there is a theme. It's kind of like your one where you had where it was like wet socks or, sticky or whatever. So it's kind of like that.
Okay. I like
So
those.
there's nothing like serious about it, but they're definitely going to be like,
Okay.
So, first one. Be feared by all or loved by all?
Probably feared. Because I don't like that many people. And therefore, I don't want that many people liking me. I'm sorry. Or
I can see the logic in that.
Or I want to choose Michael Scott's answer. I want everyone to be afraid of how much they love me.
There you go. That's the answer right there. I see your logic. I think I would want to be loved by all just because it really does. I have a fucking issue with being concerned about whether or not people like me. Yes, I know it's something I need to work on, blah, 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 blah. But I'm with you in the sense that I don't really want to be around a lot of people. So I would rather be loved by all if that meant that I didn't have to be around all those people.
That's fair. That's also fair.
So yeah. That's yeah. Okay, my other one. Let's go here. Would you rather lose your passport or your smartphone?
Passport, because the two times that we've discussed that I've been out of the country, I didn't need a fucking passport. So, and I don't have a passport actually.
Oh, I do, but I have to get it renewed because it doesn't match my name.
Since you got married?
Yeah, so funny story. I did not change my name right away. I should have. But I didn't change it right away because we didn't leave for our honeymoon until like a month later. And so you have to change your driver's license first and then you can change your passport. And so I didn't want my driver's license and my passport to be two different names. Okay. So I just waited. Even though where we were going, I didn't need my passport, but just whatever. So I waited till we got back from our honeymoon to our quote unquote honeymoon. It really wasn't a honeymoon. We had planned a trip during COVID, but it got obviously postponed. And then we were going to go to Jamaica for our honeymoon, but then COVID, there were some issues with Jamaica at the time. So we just had used the money from the trip that had been postponed to just take a little trip. And then our actual quote unquote honeymoon that we call it was when we went to Israel because we used all the money from the wedding for that.
Yeah, makes sense.
But anyways, so I didn't change my driver's license. Well, then I changed my driver's license when I got back, but you get obviously a new driver's license. But when I changed my name, they didn't punch out my old driver's license. So my old driver's license still has my old name and is still technically valid to the end of this year. Okay. And so if I wanted, I could fly with my old passport and my old ID and they'd match. But technically it wouldn't now because legally social security number and everything else has changed. So
gotcha.
I'd rather lose right now I'd rather lose my smartphone because it takes forever to get a new passport.
I'm still okay with it because I can't imagine that I'd need to go somewhere urgently.
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing too is you can quickly get a passport card. So it's not valid for air travel, but if you were to drive across a border, you can use it then.
Depends on where you live, because right now the closest Social Security office that you can actually make an appointment at, or not Social Security, but passport, is 2.5 hours away for us.
Yeah, mine's in San Francisco, and that's 3 hours.
Okay.
But still, you can get it fairly quickly, is my point.
Number 3, would you rather smell like onions or garlic?
Garlic. Onions smells like body odor. I love onions.
They smell good when they're cooked, but
yes. But onions, when I'm cutting onions and I have the onion smell on my hands and I smell it a day later, even though I've washed my hands several times.
Yeah, a bajillion times.
It's permeated into the skin. It gives me the willies.
Same.
Fucking love garlic. So
yep,
absolutely hands down garlic.
We all know the answer to this next one, but let's just, for shits and giggles, we'll ask it. No company or bad company?
No company.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Like, why is that a question? Like, how is that a question? Like,
I know,
who would rather
right?
have bad company than no company? Like, at
Okay.
least, okay, now, in all fairness, I sometimes am bad company and I don't want to be around myself, but I can't really
Correct.
get away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. This one's going to be a doozy. Rachel Green or Monica Geller?
As my friend,
It just says who would you it just says would you rather. So I would probably rather be. Would you rather be Rachel
would I-
Green or
I'm
Monica
going to go with
Geller?
Rachel Green because then I could suck up to my parents and have them pay for shit.
Yeah, but if you're Monica Geller, they love you because she was the. Oh no, that's Ross. Ross
Yeah.
was the miracle child.
Yes.
Never mind. My bad. So yeah, I'd want to be Rachel Green. Otherwise, I'd
Yeah.
have awful parents.
And then like I'd constantly have to be like fighting with Ross like they were in that episode where he was over all the time and
Mm-hmm.
stop changing my channel.
Okay. Would you rather a dirty bathroom or a dirty kitchen?
Dirty bathroom.
Why?
Okay. You're not saying how dirty it is, first of all. Kitchen, I prepare my food there.
But is dirty lots of stuff or is dirty like contagious? You know what I mean?
Oh, see, I think like, you know, when you haven't cleaned your bathroom for like a week or two and you get like that soap scum,
Yeah.
that's the kind of dirty I'm thinking.
Okay. So then yeah, I'd rather a dirty bathroom. Okay. Keep a secret or tell a secret?
I guess I'd rather keep a secret because telling a secret requires talking to people. I think the theme of this is Amy doesn't want to talk to people.
Yeah, I think we're getting a common theme here.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd want to do either. I don't like secrets. They're just too much stress to hold on to.
Here's another key. What kind of secret is it? How bad is the secret? Or how good is the secret? Because I've been watching a lot of shows lately where stop fucking keeping secrets and then you wouldn't have this fucking problem. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
For example, 13 Reasons Why. They're
I
all
haven't seen
keeping
it.
each other. Okay, they're all keeping each other's secrets, and I get keeping certain secrets, but certain secrets do not need to be kept. You
Yeah.
wash that off yourself. You did what you did. It's not my problem.
I'm just
Like
one of those
I
people
feel
that,
bad if your intentions are good, but you did something bad. I get it. I'm sorry. That sucks, but I'm not
Mhm,
going down with you. I'm not.
Well, no, I don't want to go down with anybody, but I also like to, when I can tell somebody's trying to tell me something that maybe shouldn't be talked about to other people, I happily will throw my hands up in the air and say, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I love being able to say, I'll know. Not in like everyday life, like when it comes to how do you do this, how do you do that, but when it comes to other people's shit and other people's drama, I love to like throw my hands up in the air and just be like, not me. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't want to know. It's none of my fucking business. Don't drag me into it. I don't need to know your drama. So like, I don't think I could ever, not that I can't keep a secret. Obviously I can, but I've, in my older age, once I start getting the feeling like something's coming that maybe I need to keep to myself, I usually will excuse myself from said conversation.
And that's totally fair. Totally fair.
Yeah. Okay. Poor and happy or rich and miserable?
Poor and happy. I'm already there. Don't laugh at me too hard now, okay? I feel like, and we've said this before, money doesn't, you don't need money to do things. You don't need money to be happy. It can make life easier, yes. This is going to be kind of a revelation for some people. I have been homeless.
Yes, we have.
No. As an adult.
When
we
you
moved,
guys lived in the camper, huh?
no, not just that. When we moved from Washington down to California this last time, we didn't have like a house set up.
Mhm.
We would stay in hotels while it was like nasty weather. But other than that, we were out camping. We had the most fun summer that summer. Less responsibilities. Like, we didn't have things to do. The summer I got laid off from the airline and we were living in our camper trailer. We went up and down the Oregon coast. Some of our best memories.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something to be said about being poor but happy.
I agree. And I don't want to say that there's truth to money can't buy happiness. Because I have had this discussion with my husband, and you're right. I don't think that money can buy happiness. It most certainly can afford you the opportunity to be able to step back from work or other responsibilities and have that comfortability to be able to enjoy some of those things like you guys are talking about. I feel like some people don't know how to find the beauty in the small things.
Absolutely.
Because they're so busy, I think, doing other things. So I think that it doesn't buy happiness for sure, but it certainly does help make it a little bit easier for some people to be able to feel comfortable to have fun and be themselves and be enjoyable. But I also do see a lot of people who are rich and very miserable because having all that money doesn't buy you friends. It doesn't buy you a life. It just buys you material things. And if you don't know how to be rich and
in spirit,
prosperous and happy, rich in spirit, then that money does you no good. So
exactly.
It's kind of a catch-22. It's one of those things that really honestly depends on the person. It depends on the circumstances. I would obviously, if I had to choose, would rather be poor and happy than rich and miserable. But I just think that, And
here's the other thing too. Poor and rich they're fluid. What you consider rich is probably something that I consider different.
Right.
And same for poor. What I consider poor is probably very different from what you consider. And everybody for that matter. Like,
yeah,
it's on a sliding scale. Everybody's going to think something different.
I mean, I'm sure some people look at, me and think we're poor. We're not poor, but we're not rich. We're middle class, but we're like lower to middle class. We're not like on high upper class. We're
definitely low middle class because we're just over the poor line that we can't get any help. But
poor enough you can't buy a house.
Exactly. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that we make enough, but we should be able to buy a house with what we make. Like, that. These two things aren't adding up here.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Okay, next one. Never get angry or never be envious.
Never be envious. Anger is fleeting for me. I get angry a lot. I get furious a lot. I get rage a lot. But for a good, I'd say 15 years, I lived in envy of other people. I've learned to grow out of that. But I still have moments where I envy people's lives, people's paths that they've taken, things that they put as important to them. But it got me nowhere. It gets you nowhere to be envious of people. So I would rather never have to be envious.
I think I would never want to be angry because I don't correlate envious as a negative thing. To me, there's a lot of people I'm envious of, and for me it's a motivating thing. Like, I'm envious, but like I'm not sitting here green with envy like how dare they have these things. I'm looking at it and going, wow, that's what I gotta do, or wow, they made this decision and I made this decision. look at how that worked out for them. And so it makes me go, okay, so maybe next time if I'm in that position, I should choose a different path if I'm not happy. Like, I don't see it as the negative that it usually is correlated to, because envy is usually a more of a negative trait.
Mhm.
I see it as, and I have been at times envious of people in a way that is, oh, that really, like, how dare they? Why do they have that? Like, but that's when I know I need to take a step back and go, I'm not envious of their life. I'm jealous, or at that point I'm judging, thinking that they're not worthy of that, even though that's not my place.
Okay. So this is going to be a whole nother episode. But my envy generally stemmed from when I wanted to have kids. And everyone around me was getting pregnant without trying.
Yeah.
Or they'd be like, "Oh, have you tried this? Listen,
Mhm,
motherfucker,
mhm.
in 10 years, I think I've tried that. Or I think I've tried the don't stress about it and it'll happen."
I think your form of envy is a very natural form of envy, because as a human, but as a female, it is ingrained in us. And some people don't want kids, and that's fine. But for those who do want kids, it would be very hard to
Yeah.
be around people who are having children. Some who, in my judgment, which I know is not okay, I think are undeserving of being a parent. And I think it's only natural in your
Absolutely.
situation. Now, to be envious of someone's position in life, their job title, how much money they make, that's different. Wanting to be a parent, I don't think
And
I consider
nature,
that
like-
envy. I consider that it's something in you that you really, really want. And when you see other people with it, it makes you want it even more.
That's fair. It's just that, to me, envy over something that you have only so
No.
much
Mhm.
control over,
Yeah.
and you can't change the outcome no matter how much you try, it's frustrating. And that's
Absolutely.
the envy I've dealt with.
Yes.
And that's the kind of envy I never want ever again. And
I can see
I'm
that.
kind of there. But at the same time, I still have moments.
See, and I've never been envious in that way of somebody. So that would be why I would choose never get angry again, because the sort of envy I have towards people is not the same as yours. And I don't think that I could even begin to understand, that level of envy that you have,
Yeah.
So I could never understand why that would be something you would choose. I get it in the sense that, everybody has different experiences. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll definitely be its own podcast.
Okay, next one. Never be stuck in traffic again, or never get another cold. Right?
Do I have my current immune system?
And where's the traffic?
That's a good question, too. Because if I have my current immune system, I'm going with never be in traffic ever again. Because I have a great immune system. I'm rarely sick. When I do, it's all or nothing. For example, my freshman year of high school, I had pink eye, strep, and lice all at the same time.
How did you get lice your freshman year in high school?
So
Like, how the fuck does that happen?
here's a PSA to anyone out there, especially with teenage girls. Teenage girls are the most common carrier of lice. Because they're constantly hugging on each other and leaning on each other and sharing
that's true.
brushes and sharing coats and sharing everything that they say you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, my pediatrician told me that.
Interesting.
Yep.
I think I would never want to have another cold, because colds are just obnoxious. And where I live, traffic does suck, but it's a small town. I'll deal with it, sort of thing. But I don't even know that I would change my answer if I lived in the Seattle area again, because I would rather deal with that traffic than here, because at least that's just because there's a lot of people, not dumb people. There are dumb people there too. But there's not a lot of people in my town, but I swear to God, none of them know how to fucking drive.
We've gone over that in an episode.
Yes, we have. So I think I'd rather never
which,
have
by
a
the
cold
way,
again.
we may have to have a secondary podcast on that topic.
On what? Where I live?
No,
Or the
traffic.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we got 3 more.
Okay.
Simpsons or The Family Guy?
Okay. So I'm going to go with Family Guy. Because growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Oh my God, that's my same answer. I was never allowed to watch The Simpsons, so I've never seen an episode.
I've seen episodes especially since I've been with my husband. He loves The Simpsons, but we were not allowed to watch it because Bart was highly disrespectful to his parents.
Yes, that was the same reason I was given.
Which is funny because looking at it, he's disrespectful because they're strangling him.
Well, yeah.
Like, they're
And
just
I
as
only started
disrespectful to
watching
him
Family
as
Guy
they
when
are.
we were all out of high school. And
Exactly.
we were all living, like, it's just...
That started later on in our life, so I feel like that I want to say that started in 98, 99, something like that. So yeah, same.
Family Guy, I guess. Okay,
Yep.
More time or more money?
I'm gonna go with more money, which is weird because here's the thing. We've already discussed in previous episodes. Amy's kind of lazy, so I don't do much with the time I have. So until I can master doing more with the time that I already have, I'm going to take the money.
See, and I would say more money because I would like to be able to do the most with the time that I have. If I have a whole bunch of time, and I think I've answered this somewhere before, if I have a whole bunch of time, what good does that do me if I can't afford to live that amount of time and be comfortable? I would rather have more money now and experience the life that I'm supposed to have in that time frame, you know.
Mm-hmm. And the other question
whether
too
I
is
have
it,
2
is
days
it more
or
times in a day? Or
well,
is
just
it
as
like
more time or more money. And I just feel like it shouldn't matter. Like whether I have 2 days or 22 years or, 200 years left, I would love to be able to make the most of that time so that I can make those memories and have that experience. Because what good does it have more time if the other people around you aren't going to be around, or you aren't able to provide a comfortable experience for you and your family? I don't know. I just feel like I would rather have more money to make the most of the time I have.
See, and I'm thinking like each day is longer, so therefore you have more time to yourself in the day. But even then, that's where I'm coming up with I don't utilize my time well in the first place.
I would just rather have more money so that when I did come home, I didn't feel like, I could afford a housekeeper, because then I wouldn't have to come home and cook and clean and do the dishes and do the yard work. And like, if I had more money, then the time that I do have, I could make the most of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, last one. Have your heart broken or be the heartbreaker?
Be the heartbreaker.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because one, I don't have to break hearts. I don't have to go out and do it.
What?
I said I don't have to actually break hearts, or I don't have to do it more than once. Having your heart broken.
What? Oh. Okay.
What?
I didn't understand what you were
Did you
saying
hear me?
there for a second. I did. I just didn't understand what you were saying. Like I didn't.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I could literally just break one person's heart. But even then, I feel like breaking their heart, that's on them. That they're heartbroken. As long as I'm doing it nicely.
I think I would rather be the heartbreaker too, just because I have had my heart broken, both by just a relationship, and people in our lives that have let me down. And that's just as heartbreaking. It's just a different type of heartbreak. And that's just not something that isn't, obviously it's not enjoyable, but I have a really hard time. I can move past it on the outside, very easily for people, but I very much care what people think about me and, the impression that people get of me. And so I am an overthinker in the sense that I'll go to bed and I'll overthink every situation that happened that I could have done differently to make it a different outcome. I'll take a shower and same thing, I relive things. And so I don't process it probably in the most healthy way. So I don't want to have to go through it because I
Same.
know that's something I struggle with.
Yeah. That's pretty much where I'm at too.
Yeah.
Any others?
That's mine.
All right. Well, if anyone has any suggestions for our this or that, or would you rather, and if you do, please be as specific as possible. Just shoot us an email, ginnyandamypodcast@gmail.com. That's GINNYANDAMY podcast@gmail.com.
You can also reach us at Bitching Siblings Podcast on Instagram. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. Bye.
Have a good night.